Today we're in Jacksonville, Florida, seeking out the beginning, the origins, the local haunts of Jacksonville's hometown, Lynyrd Skynyrd. You know the band, big southern rock band. Let's do this.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. A bad luck's always coming my way.
If you're not familiar at all with the story of Lynyrd Skynyrd, then you might be wondering why we are starting this video at a high school. Well, this is where the band members went to high school, and also, believe it or not, where they got the name for their band. The members of the band named their band after the gym coach who taught here. His name, are you ready for this, was Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he had a reputation for playing by the rules. He was pretty much a stickler. You see, school policy was against long hair, and Ronnie Van Zant and the boys, they had long hair, so Skynyrd often sent them down to the principal's office. So as a way of playfully mocking that part of their childhood, they named their band Lynyrd Skynyrd. You know what, Jessica? Coach Skynyrd actually wasn't too fond at first of being the inspiration for the band name.
I bet.
But over time, he actually warmed up to it. At one point, when Lynyrd Skynyrd was performing here in Jacksonville, they even asked him to introduce him.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Call me the breeze. I'm the real Lynyrd Skynyrd. I was a gym coach in high school for Ronnie Van Zant and some of the other members of the band. And back in those days, we had a dress code. The dress code involved sideburns not coming below the ears, hair not touching the back of the collar, belts had to be worn, shirt tails had to be in, and socks had to be worn at all times. It was the duties of the coach to help enforce these rules, and apparently one or more of the people that I may have sent down were members of this band. Anyway, it has certainly been an unusual experience having a rock band named after you.
It's such a small stop in search of the history of Lynyrd Skynyrd, but it's a crucial one. Right here at Robert E. Lee High School in Jacksonville, Florida, is where it technically all began. The historical marker was put up only a couple years ago. Now it has a fence and 24-hour surveillance because they're afraid that somebody's going to steal the plaque. Makes sense. I'm not going to do it, but I can see how somebody would. The historical marker says the Van Zant house. Musicians Ronnie, Donnie, and Johnny Van Zant spent their formative years growing up in this house with their sisters and parents between the 1950s and 1980s. And then it goes on to give a little bit more history on the band, the legends, Lynyrd Skynyrd. The wind is really starting to pick up here today. But let's get a little closer look at the house. Can you imagine Ronnie Van Zant and his brothers and sisters as kids running around, probably through that door right there? That's cool. That's bad booty. It's a beautiful little plot of land too. Only a couple blocks away is another Lynyrd Skynyrd site that we want to visit. The inspiration for the song, The Ballad of Curtis Loew. It's only a couple blocks away from where Ronnie Van Zant grew up. So technically, he probably walked to that corner store where Curtis Loew played, right down the street. Ronnie Van Zant probably walked right down this sidewalk to this little plot of land that had originally a building called CLAUDES Midway Grocery. It's no longer here. Instead, it's this little grocery store. But this is the inspiration for the Ballad of Curtis Loew. In the song The Ballad of Curtis Loew, Ronnie Van Zant sings about coming down to this store, the store that used to stand here as a kid, to listen to Curtis Loew pick the blues. "28 miles south of Jacksonville, in the middle of nowhere, is where Lynyrd Skynyrd used to practice and wrote many of their most famous songs in a building that they called Hell House. The guys got so tired of the police bothering them because of the loud music that they came all the way out here in the middle of nowhere in the swamps to a shack with a tin roof, no air conditioning, and practiced and wrote some of the songs that they're most known for. It's crazy to think that underneath these trees and this Spanish moss is where Lynyrd Skynyrd, Ronnie Van Zant, would come and hang out. And you ready for this? You ready? The dock that they would fish from in a famous photo is still here. That's right, the dock that the band stood on and where Ronnie Van Zant would fish from whenever they were here at Hell House is still here. But here's the thing. The one you're looking at right now is the new dock. The original dock, however, is still here. It's underneath the one that I'm on right now. How crazy cool is that? Standing here on the Hell House dock, where Lynyrd Skynyrd once stood, the greatest southern rock band ever. This is peaceful. Crazy, right? Writing songs like Freebird, Give Me 3 Steps, all here on this property. See if you can see my reflection. There I am. In the ripples of the water. Crazy. I'm surprised that this is still here with the housing development that's going on. I say that it's crazy that it's still here, but it's also crazy that I was able to get in because the housing development, believe it or not, is a gated community and you really can't get in here. It just so happened the gates were open and I drove back and I was able to find the dock. But check this out, you ready? The streets inside this housing community are actually named after Skynyrd songs. Don't believe me? Check this out. Inside the housing community where Hell House once stood, it's technically now on the corner of Southern Oaks and Freebird Loop. This street is in reference to the song Tuesday's Gone. Right now, I'm on Brickyard Road, made famous because this is where Ronnie Van Zant lived at the time of his death, October 20th, 1977. The house is no longer here, it's been torn down, but the road was made famous because of his brother and the song that he wrote called Brickyard Road. Somewhere along this road, Brickyard Road, is where Ronnie Van Zant lived. There's all kinds of pictures of him inside the house, but really nothing on the outside of the home. Because the house has been torn down, it's proven pretty difficult to pinpoint where he actually lived on this road, Brickyard Road. There's a lot of new houses, private property, not gonna trespass, but it was here. This is the Jug Saloon, not too far from where Ronnie Van Zant grew up. You know the song, Give Me 3 Steps? It originated here. The story goes a little something like this. Basically, Ronnie Van Zant got into this bar with a fake ID at the age of 18. He was dancing with a girl by the name of Linda Lou, which ticked off her boyfriend. The boyfriend pulled a gun on Ronnie Van Zant, and Ronnie Van Zant took only 3 steps to get out that front door right there. And the song, Give Me 3 Steps, was born. Over the years, Lynyrd Skynyrd has been back here, as well as 38 Special, performing here on the stages of this little bar in Jacksonville, Florida. History. History, Jessica. History. Humble beginnings, that's right. Everything is so peaceful right now and quiet. It amazes me how down to earth the band really was. When they weren't on tour, they were here at home, just outside of Jacksonville. Whitey's Fish Camp was Ronnie Van Zant's favorite place to eat, hang out, and he often fished here. Since I'm here, I might as well take a walk out on the boat dock. It's a beautiful day. Just look at that. I mean, everything has changed. A lot has changed since the 70s, whenever Ronnie Van Zant was here. Keep in mind, he died in 1977. But you can still come here and eat and hang out where he did. Crazy, right? Let's go all the way to the end. Now turn around and take a look at the fish camp. See, slow speed, ready? Slow turn. I don't know if you can read that little wooden sign, but it says no swimming. Hungry gators. Don't worry, I'm not gonna be swimming here. Not one bit. There's even a little bench here for Jimmy Van Zant. They had the memorial concert here for him. You can sit and get pictures. And right above it, a little metallic memorial for him. If you're a fan of Lynyrd Skynyrd, then you probably know how Ronnie Van Zant died. October 20th, 1977. Him, 2 other band members, and the road manager died in a plane crash in Mississippi. I walked into the main office and asked them where Ronnie Van Zant was buried. And they said, go right through the gates and off to the left. You can't miss it. And boy, they were right. Right here is the final resting place of the lead singer to Lynyrd Skynyrd, Ronnie Van Zant. Ronald Wayne Van Zant, 1948 to 1977. As you can see, a lot of people have left some money, guitar picks. Crazy, right? And of course, there's a Freebird. There's a CD case with some black and white photos. A little note that says, to Ronnie, Freebird, from Steve, Dwayne, Rusty, Lynyrd Skynyrd. There's some more Freebirds on his stone. Crazy. And almost directly across from Ronnie Van Zant's final resting place is the bass player for Lynyrd Skynyrd, Leon. That's a cool photo of him, man. Aside from Ronnie Van Zant, there's one more person buried in the cemetery that I really want to visit today, and that's the man himself. The man the band is named after, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Now, if that doesn't scream Southern Cemetery, I don't know what does. And you know what? It kind of does look like something out of Stranger Things. But over in this little patch of land is where Skinner is buried. I love walking through the cemetery with you, Jessica. This is what we call cemetery safari. Going into a cemetery without a map and spending whatever amount of time it takes to look for whoever we're looking for.
Here all day.
Oh yeah. Sometime you can spend hours in a cemetery depending on the size of the cemetery. And there it is, the final resting place of Coach Lynyrd Skynyrd, the man who Lynyrd Skynyrd is named after. Now that's bad booty. The plaque reads F. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Corporal, U.S. Army, Korea, 1933 to 2010. Dedicated coach. To be honest, I'm actually a little surprised that there's nothing here dedicated to his connection to the famous Southern rock band. But still, how amazing is this? This man gave us Lynyrd Skynyrd. In a way. Right underneath this tree was the final resting place of Ronnie Van Zant. But he was moved due to vandalism. Years ago, vandals broke into the back of Ronnie Van Zant's tomb here and pulled his coffin out. Nothing was taken, but a lot of damage was done. Steve Gaines, who was the guitarist, he was cremated. The vandals removed a bag full of his ashes and only a little bit of it was spilled. But this is his final resting place. And his sister, who was the backup singer for Lynyrd Skynyrd, Cassie, she's buried behind him, behind that tree. Cassie's final resting place is right here. October 20th, 1977, she also died in the plane crash. It's a small feather right below her name. Might be a little hard to see, but right here on the tree are a bunch of names carved. Different fans who have come out here to pay their respects. I'm not going to carve my name, but it's neat. And there's the back of Ronnie Van Zant's original tomb. The back plate there is what the vandals broke into. It's replaced, and it does look newer than everything else. Crazy.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.